Eid-ul-Fitr, the holiday of breaking the fast, is a holiday held on the first day of Shawwal, the 10th month of the Islamic calendar, following the fasting month of Ramadan. Traditionally, Eid-ul-Fitr begins at sunset on the night of the first sighting of the crescent moon, as it marks the new month in the lunar calendar of Islam. If the moon is not observed immediately after the 29th day of the previous lunar month, either because the sky is blocked by clouds or the weather is such that the moon cannot be seen for other reasons, then the holiday is celebrated on the following day. But in any case, the holiday ought to be observed, as God, through his prophet Muhammad and his actions, had ordained 2 days of festivity. Eid-ul-Fitr and Eid-ul-Adha are both ordained through the example and traditions of Muhammad through his Sunna. For the practicing Muslim, Eid-ul-Fitr is a celebration of the end of the fasting period of Ramadan, and it is done usually through special prayers, usually done communally, performed to remember the greatness of God. Though these special prayers done communally, together with some obligatory almsgiving to the poor, called al-Fitr, which is given just before Eid-ul-Fitr, are more or less the only obligations concerning Eid-ul-Fitr. The holiday is associated with a lot of other non-obligatory traditions that are not in the religious sources, but that have been adopted and done in connection to the holiday. Traditions such as feasting and eating large amounts of food and giving gifts to each other, and lighting Eid lanterns, which were originally taken from traditions in Shia Ismaili Islam, but is now used in large parts of the Arabic world, and particularly in Egypt by Sunni Muslims. And on the subject of feasting and food that I mentioned earlier, a lot of sweets are consumed and given during Eid-ul-Fitr, and there are countless recipes for various sweet dishes and sweets associated with Eid-ul-Fitr. And when I said given before, that and food generally is also given to the poor or consumed in communal gatherings, if not consumed just by the closest family. From the outside perspective, this eating and consumption of sweets and great amounts of food and giving of gifts to each other can, from the religious psychology standpoint, be seen as a reward after the period of hardship that the fasting period of Ramadan actually presents for the Muslim believer. And the stark contrast of this feasting in comparison to the previous period of fasting affirms the faith and creates a stronger psychological bond to the religion in the believer's mind, and thus strengthens the faith. Eid-ul-Fitr is also called al-eidu as-saghiir, the little holiday, in comparison to Eid-ul-Adha, which is called the holiday of sacrifice, which is also called al-eidu al-kabir, the great holiday. Though despite Eid-ul-Fitr being called the little holiday and being scripturally less important than Eid-ul-Adha, it has actually taken over Eid-ul-Adha in common religious importance, in common layman practice in many regards, as the celebrations of it tend to be greater in certain cases. Kind of like how Christmas has taken over Easter in importance and level of celebration in Christianity, despite Easter on a purely scriptural basis in Christianity being much more important. This was a short video about Eid-ul-Fitr, the lesser Eid, the lesser holiday in Islam, and I hope you liked it. Please do subscribe, as it would help the channel spread awareness about the humanities. اشتركوا بالقناة من فضلكم.